Have you ever noticed something strange about your mind? When something goes wrong, you immediately look for what you should have done differently. A conversation becomes awkward, a project fails, someone you care about is unhappy, and somewhere inside a quiet voice appears. This might be my fault, even when the situation was never fully in your control. Why does the mind do this? Why do so many people carry a feeling that they are responsible for everything? To understand this, we have to look at something very old inside the human mind. Responsibility is usually seen as a virtue, and we are taught from a young age to take responsibility for our actions. And that is important, but something subtle often happens along the way. Responsibility quietly expands. It moves beyond our actions to include other people's emotions, other people's reactions, and sometimes even the course of life itself. We start believing that if something goes wrong, we should have anticipated it, prepared for it, prevented it. But the world is far more complex than that, and the mind struggles to accept this. Psychology offers an interesting explanation. The human mind prefers control over uncertainty, even if that control is only an illusion. Imagine two explanations for a difficult situation. One says life is unpredictable. The other says you should have handled this better. Strangely, the second explanation can feel more comforting. Because if the problem was your fault, then perhaps it could have been prevented. Blaming ourselves can create a sense that the world is still manageable, that with enough effort, enough planning, enough responsibility, we can keep things from falling apart. But life rarely works that way. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus noticed something important. He wrote, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." This simple distinction changed the way Stoics approached life. Your actions within your control, your intentions within your control, but other people's reactions, their emotions, their decisions, those belong to them. When we take responsibility for things outside our control, something subtle happens. Responsibility turns into burden, and burden slowly turns into exhaustion. Because no human mind is capable of managing the entire world. Yet, many of us try, quietly, every single day. In modern life, this tendency becomes even stronger. We live in a culture that constantly encourages optimization. Improve everything, fix everything, manage everything. If something goes wrong, there must be a solution. There must be something you could have done differently. Social media amplifies this belief. You see people who appear to have figured everything out. Careers, relationships, happiness. And slowly, the mind begins to think, if I were more responsible, my life would look like that too. But what you are seeing is not reality. It is a carefully edited illusion. And comparing yourself to it only increases the sense that you should be doing more, fixing more, carrying more. There is a quiet freedom in recognizing the limits of responsibility. You are responsible for your effort, your honesty, your character, but you are not responsible for controlling life. You cannot manage every outcome. You cannot protect everyone from disappointment, and you cannot prevent every mistake. This realization is not failure, it is clarity. And clarity allows the mind to finally put down a burden it was never meant to carry. Perhaps the reason you feel responsible for everything is not because you are weak, but because you care, because you want life to go well, because you want people around you to be okay. And those are good intentions. But wisdom begins when we understand where responsibility ends. You can guide your actions, but life itself will always remain partly unpredictable. And learning to live with that uncertainty may be one of the most important forms of peace. Welcome to the Timeless Path,